On the morning of February 26, 2013, 21 individuals, 20 tourists, and one pilot climbed into this hot air balloon to go for a ride over the Valley of the Kings in Luxor, Egypt. The trip itself would have been very scenic as the rising sun landed upon various ancient Egyptian statues as they traveled through the desert towards their destination. But as they were about 10 feet from the ground, a massive fireball ripped through the basket, which set the entire basket and everyone in it on fire. Witnesses on the ground said the fireball hit the pilot first, who in a panic jumped out of the basket on fire and began rolling around on the ground. Following him was another tourist who was also on fire that leapt from the basket. Unfortunately, because hot air balloons work by heat created from a fire in a burner inside the basket going up into the balloon, this sudden explosion of flames caused a massive amount of heat to rise up into the balloon, which launched the balloon back in the air with 19 people still aboard in this flaming basket. As this occurred, at least 7 more passengers jumped out of the balloon to their deaths as it was rapidly ascending. The balloon then quickly elevated to about 1,000 feet in the air before an explosion occurred, which collapsed the balloon and sent the remaining 12 people aboard the basket plummeting to their deaths. In the end, only 2 individuals survived this particular crash, the pilot and the tourist who managed to jump out of the basket when it was just 10 feet above the ground, but both had burns of covering about 70% of their bodies. Now, the official cause for this particular crash was determined to be a gas leak from one of the lines going to the front burner. As they were going into land, the line ruptured and caught on fire. When the pilot turned around to attempt to put it out, it exploded and caught himself and the basket on fire. This remains the deadliest hot air balloon disaster in history and the deadliest aerostat disaster. An aerostat is a craft that requires buoyancy to remain in the air, but the deadliest aerostat disaster since the Hindenburg in 1937.